In today's video, I will talk about the Atem Mini SDI models and also give my thoughts on whether you should get it for your live stream production setup. Also, I will share tips along the way and give my real life experiences, so do stay tuned as I share these experiences with you. Hey, what's up everyone, it's Steph here. The last time Blackmagic Design released a new line of Atem Mini switches was in July 2022, which was more than a year and a half ago. And this was the Atem Mini SDI models. The last time Blackmagic Design released a HDMI model, February 2021. In today's comparison video, for simplicity purposes, I will just call them the SDI models versus the HDMI models. So okay, HDMI versus SDI. What is the difference? As in all my videos, I always try to explain them in simple terms so that everyone can understand, hopefully. Once we understand the difference between HDMI and SDI, then we can decide which Atem Mini model we should be looking at. In this video, I would assume that you know what is a HDMI cable and what is an SDI cable. So I will just dive right into the comparison. If you do not know, just probably can do a quick Google and you'll be able to find out. So both HDMI and SDI cables transmit audio and video signals from a source to a display. The main difference is that SDI is more commonly used in professional video gear. On the other hand, HDMI connectors are more frequently found on electronics aimed at consumers and prosumers. So first up, price. As you can see, the price difference between the SDI and HDMI models are not that huge. $50 difference for the basic mini models, $300 difference for the Pro ISO models, and $200 for the Extreme models. So you must be thinking, let's go for the SDI models then. The newer the better, right? And I heard SDI is the more professional production setup. Hold your horses before you throw in that extra few $100s to get that more professional looking setup. Let's look into other factors and I'll let you know my thoughts at the end. Second, distance. HDMI video quality is known to degrade at long distances of 50 feet or 50 meters and above. If you have to run cables over long distances, opt for the SDI connection. However, for shorter distances, HDMI should suffice. Third, secure connection. SDI cables have a locking connector at both ends called BNC connectors. These mechanisms prevent accidental disconnections from connected devices. So for example, if you didn't lay and tape down your wires properly, one kick from an unassuming passerby during your live stream can possibly blow up your whole setup. Just kidding. You might have a disconnected port that may affect your live stream. That's probably about it. So now we have a pretty good idea of what is SDI and what is HDMI, their pros and cons, and how we use them in our production. Now the important question, which Atem Mini model should we get? It really depends on your setup and level of expertise. The first ever Atem Mini model was released in September 2019 in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic to target the consumer and prosumer market. Before the Atem Mini was released, either you are there at the professional production level or I don't know where. So as live streaming became more mainstream and affordable and easy to use, thanks to the Atem Mini series, Blackmagic Design slowly upgraded the Mini from the Pro to the ISO to the Extreme in a short span of 3 years to bridge the gap between really basic users and what I would call semi-professional users. And they have done an excellent job, honestly. The SDI model is probably the last piece of pie in the oven, as any more professional will get you into their top-end product line. Okay, I don't know about you guys and your area of live stream production, so don't cancel me if I assume wrongly. But from what I've gathered over these 2-3 years, most of you guys are somewhat, I would deem, semi-professional level. Meaning you guys are doing wedding live streams, some corporate jobs in a controlled environment, churches, and the occasional sports live streaming. Which also means most of your cameras are prosumer level, having HDMI outputs. This, in my opinion, is the deal breaker or deal decider. You need to look at the ecosystem of your whole live stream setup. So if most of your gear are HDMI compliant, go for the HDMI model. If most of your gear are SDI compliant, go for the SDI model. Off the top of my head, all of my cameras are HDMI. My laptops are HDMI. Well, I'm not sure if there are any laptops with SDI connections. Only the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera and my wireless transmitters have the SDI outputs. So now let's take a look at this chart of Atem Mini releases. In September 2019, Blackmagic Design released the groundbreaking Atem Mini model. In April 2020, they released the Atem Mini Pro model. For me, this was a massive upgrade and I will give it a 5 out of 5 stars in terms of upgrade rating. In July 2020, they released the Atem Mini Pro ISO model, just a couple of months prior to the previous release. To me, I will only give this upgrade a 3.5 star rating. Why 3.5 star? You can check out one of my older videos in the link above when I did a comparison of these two models. In February 2021, they released the Extreme ISO model. For me, this was a 5-star upgrade as well. And in July 2022, they released the Extreme SDI model as well as SDI versions of previous models. So here's where the upgrade comparison stops. So this is not like a vertical upgrade, but more like a parallel upgrade. Which means either you buy the HDMI model or the SDI model. For me, I own the HDMI model, and buying the SDI model now, I wouldn't exactly see it as an upgrade. In fact, I see it as a downgrade because I would have to change my whole ecosystem of equipment. Because now I will have to change my cameras, get an SDI to HDMI adapter for connecting my laptop, and other possible HDMI to SDI equipment switches that I may have to make. And then to reset everything, okay? Assuming if you don't own any of the Atem Mini models. Now this is the best time to make your purchase because you have the whole pond of fish for you to choose from. So if you decided to embark on the SDI road, you can prepare to buy all your other equipment with SDI inputs or outputs. So conclusion, Blackmagic Design released the SDI models because they listened to feedback and catered to the increasing demands for Atem Minis with SDI connections. In my opinion, if you are still running the same live stream productions as before, just stick to what you currently own and go along the same route. Meaning if you own the Pro, aka HDMI series, just go along that line of upgrade. On the other side, if you own the SDI series, go along that line of upgrade. The only reason I can think of a switch from HDMI to SDI is if you work in a professional live stream production company and all your equipment have SDI connections. Whereas we all know previously Atem Minis only come with the HDMI connections, right? Now you can upgrade them to SDI connections because you already have an ecosystem of SDI equipment, which is your production company. Then it makes perfect sense to make the switch. So there you have it, a comparison and in-depth analysis of the Atem Mini Pro or HDMI series versus the SDI series and if you should make the switch. I hope that after watching today's video, some of you can take what resonates and leave what doesn't behind. At the end of the day, I just want you all to make the most informed choice and have a better quality live stream production in your career. Before I end this video, I would like to say it really means a lot to me if you found any of the information today I shared useful and if you can give this video a like. So it encourages me to continue making such videos for you. If not, feel free to leave them in the comments below what you would like to see so I can work on my future video content to bring you something that you like. Also, if you learned anything from today's video or from any other videos on my channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell. And while you're here, do check out 2 of my other videos here. And as always, I'm Steph. If you have any questions, please Let me know.